What's up, my fellow alcoholics, and welcome to the channel. And in this video we'll be going over the M91 LMG, one of my more favorite LMGs. I also have multiple loadouts that I'm gonna go over with you guys as far as ground war is concerned, 10v10 maps and 6v6 maps. So definitely have different types of loadouts for each one due to the sizes of maps and play styles. So let's get right into the loadouts. Starting with the ground war loadout, we're going to go with the M91 Special Forces barrel, and that's for damage over range and bullet velocity, and you don't hurt too much with your ADS time with that, so it's not too bad. With the optics, I ran holographics. You can run 3.0 scopes, higher zoom scopes, red dots. It's personal preference. For the stock, I went with the XRK Striker stock for the ADS time. For the rear grip, I went for the stipple grip for the sprint to fire speed mostly and your ADS time. And for the underbarrel, I went with the Merc 4 grip for the recoil control and the hip fire accuracy. Definitely a fun and very useful loadout, especially while mounted. It definitely helps this gun on those long range shots, but I didn't struggle too much with it. Countering snipers is a lot of fun. Tapping them down to little to nothing is, it's a lot of fun to use. So definitely a good loadout, and we'll go over the recoil patterns in a little bit for you guys. So coming to the 10v10 maps loadout, you can also use this on 6v6, but I tended to use it more on 10v10. You're going to go with the 5 milliwatt for the hip fire accuracy and your sprint to fire speed. Red dots or iron sights, I recommend both. Nothing too high on the zoom. Same with the stock, we're going with the Striker stock for the ADS time. Same with the rear grip, we're going with the stippled grip tape for the sprint to fire speed and your ADS time. And then the underbarrel, we're staying with the recoil control and hip fire accuracy of the Merc 4 grip. So the Merc 4 grip paired with the 5 milliwatt laser is pretty deadly, if I must say, especially pre-firing corners and eventually aiming in on somebody that's surprising you around the corner. Definitely helped out a lot, and it's not too bad on the recoil when it comes to those longer range shots, because of the 10v10 maps are a little bit larger than the 6v6, so there wasn't too much of a struggle. Definitely was a lot of fun. And then, of course, speaking of fun, we have our smaller 6v6 map loadout, and we're going to go with the barrel is the M91 infantry, and that's a shorter barrel for the ADS time and movement speed. The 5 milliwatt laser for your sprint to fire speed and also your hip fire accuracy. Went with no stock, which doesn't hurt the recoil too much, but it's for your movement speed and your ADS time. And then we went for the stippled grip tape for the sprint to fire speed mostly, and it also gets that pro for the ADS time. And of course the Merc 4 grip for the recoil control and hip fire accuracy. So that paired with the 5 milliwatt and a ton of sprint out time is definitely a pre-firing hip fire to aiming setup. So you can get around the map a lot better with this loadout, and definitely is a lot of fun on shipment and shoot house. My gameplay footage, I had a somewhat similar setup, but it was on Hackney Yard, and that's also a fun map to run this loadout on. Excuse me. So right now we'll get into the wall testing, and this is a stock M91. So no attachments on it, and you can see that it has a ton of vertical recoil, but also has a lot of horizontal. Now the horizontal isn't too bad to control, which is why I didn't go too heavy on horizontal or recoil stabilization attachments, simply because of the fire rate. This is the ground war loadout, so it's definitely an improvement as far as vertical is concerned. Doesn't go as high as a standard, and it's not too wild with the horizontal recoil for some reason, and it might have been a bug, but it definitely doesn't have a whole lot of horizontal at that point. And then this should be the 10v10 loadout. As you can see, it recoils about the same as the standard, as the no the no attachment, it's almost there, but has a lot of horizontal recoil. But like I said, horizontal recoil for this gun is not too hard to manage simply because of its fire rate. Its fire rate's a little more moderate speed, so it doesn't really kick all over the place. And this is your 6v6 smaller maps loadout here. As you can see, the recoil goes back to the standard recoil, going all the way over the building. But with the Merc foregrip, it kind of tightens up the vertical recoil. So definitely a lot better than standard. But you're not going to be using that whole magazine on one particular player. So, but as far as my opinion on the gun, this is a standard LMG. It doesn't get more. I mean, it's not a word, but it's not. It doesn't get more LMG-ish than this. It was a breath of fresh air to use after using the SA87. The recoil is very manageable, especially when I ran the gun for the no attachments challenge. It really wasn't too difficult, simply because, like I said, that it has that moderate fire rate, so it definitely is manageable because of that. It's sort of like the middle of the pack type of LMG. It's it doesn't have a high fire rate, it doesn't have a slow fire rate, it's just more medium. It doesn't have a whole lot of recoil, it has very little recoil, pretty much medium, stabilization and everything. The ADS time, the movement speed is about mid-range. It's not too slow, but it's not fast enough to keep up with like SMGs and ARs. But if once putting the attachments on for like your sprint to fire speed and your ADS time, you can definitely see an improvement. But I can kind of see where Infinity Ward was going with these gun designs. They're trying to keep it as realistic as possible, simply because, I mean, this is an LMG. All LMGs in real life, they're really big, heavy guns, and you're not too mobile. You're not gonna full sprint with that gun and out sprint somebody that has like a SMG or a pistol. You can run a marathon with it, but you're gonna get much tired. But the fact of the matter is that it's a big, heavy gun, and ADS time, movement speed definitely gets affected when using these particular loadouts, these particular weapons. So the attachments thrown on it, you can definitely tell a difference from the standard. As far as your ADS time and your sprint to fire time, you can definitely tell, but it's not the greatest improvement, like I said, because of the fact that they are just big, heavy guns. So, but I hope these loadouts help you guys out. Feel free to drop down in the comments how it is that you guys set up your M91. If you use the same amount of attachments that I use, or if you mix it up a little bit, do something a little different. I'm always open to feedback, and I always am interested in how you guys set up your guys' loadouts. So if you did enjoy this, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you guys haven't already. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for any new updates, uploads, live streams, you name it. So we have one LMG left, which is the MG34. Not a big fan of that gun. Pretty much that gun was like a love-hate relationship. Loved some of the features, I hated some of the features. So definitely looking forward to bringing that video out for you guys, because in the right situation and the right setup, it does do a lot of damage. So it's a pretty fun loadout. But again, hopefully this video was useful for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I will catch you guys next time.
Go, get to the next one. That's the hard point.
Sorry, buddy, but you're using an SMG against an LMG.
We have a personal radar drone ready for hard points moving. Personal radar.